Scott and Sue, thank you guys for jumping on this call and agreeing to do this call with me today. I just have a few questions to ask you about how was your experience working with Munozghezlan and Co. to get you guys working capital to scale your real estate business?
So my name is Scott Minder. This is my wife, Sue. And actually, this is what I do, try to run our business. We are trying to buy rental properties. And Sue actually does work for the city of Portland. We really are looking to scale up our business so that we can look forward towards retirement. This is kind of our retirement.
And how many current rental properties do you own and how many what's kind of your real estate experience so far?
We started with one rental property back in 2017. It took pretty much everything we had. We bought that with FHA financing and it was successful. It was a duplex that cash flowed $1,000 a month, but getting the financing was very difficult compared to how it's been getting capital with your company. I think our one misstep over the last 7 years was selling that, because had we not sold it, I think that property would be worth more than $1 million because of the market that it's in. But I'll also say that if we had had a company like yours who will walk us through how to structure the deal and whether the deal is going to make money and whether to hold it or to sell it, I think that if we had had access to that early on, we wouldn't have made that misstep.
Got it. So having access to somebody who's actually a real estate investor who's done a lot of deals was one of the decision factors on why you decided to pick us, the preferred bank, to get you guys funded.
Currently, we have done 3 flips, one of which we literally bought, rehabbed, sold. The other 2 are now rental properties. We have 3 rental properties and 5 doors.
Nice. Awesome. So before working with us to get funding, how were you guys funding your real estate deals?
Well, we used hard money to get everything. And one of the things with the hard money loans is that you have to have substantial amount down, 20, 30% down. And so even though we sold that first property, like Sue said, and we were able to use that to buy a flip, and then we made money off of that flip, then it's, you have all this money, you do things with it, and all of a sudden you realize you got to buy the next property, and what do you do at that point?
Well, and it still wasn't anything near like I think what we're going to be able to do with your company. By all this money, I think we made off of our first rental property that we sold, and I still wish we hadn't. We didn't know about debt service coverage loans. We didn't know about HELOCs. We just didn't know any of that and thought that we had to sell it in order to
Correct.
to get seed money. I mean, we had tried to get a HELOC on it to do real estate investing, but really conventional thinking banks don't like that, because they think, they only want you to get a HELOC if you're going to remodel your own house.
Exactly. Because they consider it a liability doing anything but spending the money on the asset that they pretty much own.
Right, exactly. So whenever you tell them you want to take out a HELOC to invest in real estate, we own the rental property and we wanted the equity to get more real estate. And I know now that there are banks who would have done that, but the ones we knew about would not. So anyway, we made about 100,000 off that, but we did a flip and got all of that back, made say about like 30, 40,000, but it doesn't take long to,
Right.
and we got another flip. And the thing about and we got a very distressed property. So it doesn't take long to go through that.
Correct.
And we are still working to scale our business. I can't speak to any solid results we've gotten in terms of scaling our property portfolio yet. But one of the things that makes me have faith that this can work is that you have case studies about how people can actually take out these term loans, open these business checking accounts and get lines of credit, and find properties that pay all the expenses and those loans and make you money.
To my second question is, what made you guys move forward with our funding offer?
I did some research on your company outside of other than just talking to you, and I liked what I saw. You have depth of history. And there's so many other companies like yours that are out there, and they talk about how they've been doing it for 4 years, 5 years, and you have a lot more to that.
Yeah, we've been in business for a long time.
That calmed me down a little bit about it. That was
it's scary taking the amount that you guys are looking to seek to take out with somebody that you don't know. Like, what if your terms don't come out the way you want it? What if the line of credits are like, there's surprises in there? You're talking about getting 200, 300, you guys were looking to get about 450, $500,000.
Yeah.
So you need somebody you can trust and depend on that. Hey, not only they can get us the money, but they can also offer DSCR loans, which is important for real estate.
Yeah.
Perhaps fix and flip loans, real estate insurance, right?
Yeah.
Entity formation setup, whatever it is that you need to have that banker on your side throughout every step of the process as a real estate investor.
Yeah, and one of the nice things about dealing with Mark is that if there's something that a loan that we didn't particularly like, or one that we liked a little bit better, that was okay, because there was a couple of them that we looked at and went, maybe not that one, and that was perfectly fine. So we were never forced to take anything that we didn't want, and that also, I think, really made it easier for us.
Yeah, and I think Sue also mentioned earlier that, hey, having somebody who has the real estate experience was very beneficiary to the decision-making process. Other than we're not just strictly a funding company that offers working capital, but we also do a lot of other real estate stuff, and perhaps somewhat of capital advisory and consulting on your deals will make you more comfortable. Not also getting the money, but doing the deals that you're going to do, whether it's fix and flips or buying rental properties or Section 8 or buying portfolio.
And it does help. Like Sue said, we've done a few fix and flips. We own a couple of rental properties. Those are going well for us, but they're small. They're duplexes. There's a single family house. And now we're looking at multifamily units. We could be looking at anywhere from something that's 7 units. There's a property that I'm really interested in that's 22 units, and we've never tackled that before. So to have somebody that has done business doing those type of things, so that we can feel a little bit more comfortable when we're looking at finances, that can point out, nope, that's good, that's bad.
And that's funny, actually. A little story yesterday. I was like, hey man, like, what do you need the capital for? I always like to ask, what do you need the capital for? And he was like, well, I have an investment strategy that I'm familiar with, that I've been doing for the past 5, 6, 7 years. All I need is fuel, firepower. I need the capital. So was it the same case for you guys? You knew how to do the fix and flips. You knew the rental. You just needed more fuel.
Yes, that's really a good way of putting it.
Yeah, it was a really good analogy. So how much capital you guys were looking for to get from us? How much have we gotten so far? Because I know we've been working together for a few weeks now.
Well, we have in term loans $140,000. We've just went through phase 2 where they kind of clean that all up so we can go after the other type of capital. So we did get one card so far. We're probably around halfway there, 200,000. We're really excited about being able to move forward and get that first bigger property.
So looking at a total of 400 to 500, we have $200,000 so far, about 140 in terms, and approximately another 40 to 60 in line of credit. But of course, will be completed with our full sequence probably before the end of the month. Walk me through kind of like I know you also mentioned earlier, you didn't have to work with lenders that you didn't feel comfortable with. So walk me through more of the process of how was it working with us and making decisions with the lenders you chose and picking out the term loans and how they fit your investment strategy.
Because we don't have buildings yet, and I was really primarily looking at interest rate and payments, because we might have a payment or two before we have a building that's paying for it.
Your team was willing to do that. Hey, no, let's take an extra meeting and sit down and just talk and get you comfortable with what's going on. It really made it quite easy to move forward.
I'm really glad to hear that. So you guys are getting some of the capital now. You have your terms. What are you looking to do? You got your eyes on a 22 unit? What are we looking to do here in the next 60 to 90 days with that capital? We're doing a hyper, some DSCR, rental properties, multifamily, and some fix and flips. Tell the people, what are you doing with
No, if we got the 22 unit, I think that's all we would be able to do.
Yeah.
Okay.
It is about $1.5 million. So
you need about $300,000-$400,000 as down payment.
Yeah.
And maybe some renovation work.
Well, that's the nice thing about it, is that 19 of the 22 units are fully renovated, but are under market rate.
What would have happened if you couldn't get access to somebody like us who can get you the capital?
We would have probably just kept on plodding along. When we had enough money to go for the next deal, then we would have bought the next deal. And that's why we've only done a few deals over the last couple of years. The big one that we did, the duplex here in Oregon, we bought that property for $250,000, and we were thinking that we were only going to stick about $100,000 into it, and we ended up sticking $150 into it because it needed all new plumbing. It needed a whole bunch of electrical work done to it. And it was all this extra stuff that we just didn't know. One of the worst things was that the sewer line going out to the street was actually underneath the foundation of the building, and we had to dig a whole new trench and put a whole new sewer line in, and that's expensive. So
that is some nasty work.
Yeah, so there was a lot of things like that happened. We were still, we were $400,000 into the property, and when it got appraised for $628 2 years ago. And since then, it's gained 4% each of the last 2 years because that's the standard in where it's the town that it's in.
What was you guys' reaction when you first started to get approved?
I was amazed just how simple it was. It didn't take a lot of time. It didn't take a lot of effort. I mean, yeah, there's always forms to fill out, and you guys did the rest.
Well, my last question, if you guys had 20 or 30 seconds to pitch this working capital to another real estate investor, what would you tell them?
The biggest problem I've seen that people have, and I'm involved in some RIA groups and some other groups, is people always find it hard to get capital. And it's always hard to find partners to get capital with. And I think going this route has allowed us to do exactly what we've tried to do through those other groups, is raise money so that we can do things. It's hard to do things on your own. So you need a partner, and you need a partner that knows how to do things like that. And that's what you guys have supplied for us, is that partnership.